Hey, I'm Robert Dobbs. I'm Robert Dobbs. I'm running for 1st Congressional District in South Carolina, Democrat. And I thank you for the opportunity to do this video. Do you have any questions you would like to ask me, Will?
Could you talk about how you feel about the energy issue as relates to South Carolina?
Well, looking at the energy issue in South Carolina, I think one thing we have to remember is we have to protect the environment of South Carolina and come up with reasonable ideas to create renewable energy for the state. And I think what we do when we look at this, we have to look at getting companies in here, specifically wind energy companies, solar companies, bio-renewable fuel companies into the state that will produce jobs that will help South Carolina. For instance, there's a company called Tower Tech. Wisconsin, they provide about 140 jobs. They produce windmills, and that is something that South Carolina could use as far as a renewable electrical source. I think the other issue we have to look at is that we don't want coal-fired plants in South Carolina. We have to deal with that situation. We have to make whatever facilities you have create more stringent standards as far as the emissions for the coal. And we also have to look at, we don't want to necessarily expand into the nuclear realm because, you know, though we have nuclear plants now, we still have the issue of the nuclear waste, hazardous waste storage, which is mainly being done on site. And, you know, in a world of terrorism can create an issue. Yucca Mountain is there, but that's something that's still up in the, you know, that's, you know, hundreds of billions of dollars down the road, and we don't know what we're going to do or not there, and much opposition for and against it. But, you know, these are some of the issues on energy.
And how about education?
I think with education we have to get direct funding down into our system. We have to look at getting increased funding for college financial tuition aid programs. We need to get Birth of Three. We need to get money into the Birth of Three program and early intervention programs in South Carolina. We need to work with the superintendent of education to make sure they have the resources necessary and federal funding come down. We don't need a No Child Left Behind Act that leaves underfunded and unfunded mandates. We need to make sure those mandates that come down from the federal government have the appropriate funding for them that will help the school districts, that they don't have to make other cuts in their budgets, you know, be it teachers or whatever, that will affect the quality of education in the state. I think we need to get funding down here for reading programs, math and science. Even though state of South Carolina did pretty good in math, we still have to keep focusing on these areas and help develop our children so that way they can get a college education and become productive citizens in the state.
The healthcare issue has had a tremendous amount of debate. What are your thoughts on that as a candidate for Congress? My main thought is
if you combine the war in Iraq and Afghanistan, in the end it's probably going to cost us $3 trillion. Right now we're putting anywhere from $300 to $500 billion into Afghanistan. This is money that could fully fund a single-payer healthcare system in the United States that would take care of every American. I say look at single payer because if you're going to look at, you want to help small business, get the health insurance issue off their back. If you want to help the education system and our teachers in the school districts and how they have to deal with, you know, providing health care for their employees, get this health care issue off their back. We need single-payer health care. We need to take care of our citizens. We do this, we can create a system that's going to be better. We can look at other countries and learn from their mistakes and learn what works positively and get this taken care of. Americans deserve decent health care. They need access to it. They need to be taken care of. More preventive medicine is going to help our people in our country, and it's going to take care of them. We're not going to have all the chronic issues to deal with in the future.
Economic development and jobs.
Looking at economic development and jobs in South Carolina, number one, we have to get Interstate 73 going. We need, since Henry Brown is on the committee that oversees the funding for this project, if we have a Republican get that seat, considering a Democrat-controlled Congress, we probably won't have a representative on that committee for that interstate system, and that could put the state back another 6 years. We need to get Interstate 73 growing. We have about $16 to $17 billion tourism industry, provides about 11% of jobs in the state of South Carolina, and it is about $2 billion in the economy for the state as far as tax revenue. We need to get this system going. It will provide jobs. It will help tourism increase. That will increase jobs and will help the economy in South Carolina. I think we have to look at getting funding down to the Small Business Administration to help small businesses. We have to help small businesses grow, expand, and even start out. We have to get these going because the small businesses are the lifeblood of our country and of South Carolina. Look in the tourism industry, you have a number of small businesses, and these businesses need help and assistance. We gave the financial industry a huge bailout, which never trickled down to small businesses. Now we need to look at where we made a mistake doing that with the banks, and let's help the small businesses. Let's get funding programs through the Small Business Administration to directly help the businesses, especially in South Carolina in the 1st District. We have to look at trying to do whatever infrastructure projects we can and get them into this state. As a member of Congress, it is your duty to try getting as many federal dollars back to the state. Nobody wants to pay out as much as we do in taxes, but at least we want to see something come back into the state as far as infrastructure, be it expanding military bases or government operations even in the state to help out with increasing employment and increasing opportunities.
Any final thoughts?
I just thank you for this opportunity. I mean, this has been a tremendous weekend. I enjoyed the debate this morning. We had the best breakfast in the world at the Crescent Connection, Manu, and at the Democratic headquarters here, enjoying everybody's fellowship and in all the participation in the events. We got a healthcare event here next, and that's going to be pretty interesting. So I say thank you for the opportunity, and I look forward to seeing and talking with all of you in the future.
If people need to reach you, how can they do that?
You can look at my website. That's the easiest way. It gives you my phone. When you call that telephone, you get me directly, and I will talk to you. My website is www.electdobbs.com, and has the mailing address and telephone on there, email. You can sign up for updates, information, volunteer for the campaign, donate. Everything's right there.